Hey there, hosers! It is I, your Lord and Savior, Lord Monarch, eh? Back to you again with another Coliseum-style Wi-Fi battle, eh? Today, we're battling someone from Facebook. Someone that I've been wanting to battle for a while, eh? They've got an interesting team there, eh? Some OU shenanigans, eh? Anywho, so I am using my X-Men team, and I'll be starting things off with the one and only Wolverine. When it comes to missions in the X-Men, you could always rely on Logan, Wolverine, to get shit done. This is a strategy with Weavile I've been wanting to showcase for a while. You see, it sharpens its claws with own claws. And when it attacks, it'll regenerate some of its health with the Shell Bell. Now, do you know how deadly this thing would be if it had the ability Tough Claws, Rough Claws, whatever you call the ability? And if Shell Bell boosted the damage output of physical contacting moves by 10% before stab, plus instead of 1 out of 8 amount of health getting back, you got back 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 6. So yeah, this Weavile has the potential to be something very fierce and deadly if and only if Game Freak decided to, change its ability and upgrade the Shell Bell. If you're listening, Game Freak, wink, wink. So, again, you guys, I do not give a rat's ass to narrate over any of my battles. So I am going to tell you guys another one of Lord Monarch's tales, or Lord Monarch's stories. We'll decide what we'll call it later. Anywho, so this happened back in 2022, just when the world was recovering from COVID. I registered for college, and you couldn't go to school in person, so things had to be done online. So I did my college classes late 2022 online. Because places were slowly starting to open. But I'm not going to tell you or go into too much detail about the college thing, because that's not what this story is about. This story is about when I went to this fancy club. Again, this was in 2022 when the world was recovering from COVID-19, and bars and clubs, places in general, were slowly starting to open. So there's this club in particular. It's a very fancy club. It's got, obviously gorgeous ass girls, gorgeous ass women go there and have a good time. Dudes with money. And they've got a lot of adult themes there, a lot of adult mature themes, like, you'll have a lot of erotic dancers, and the erotic dancers, one of them in particular, they were dressed up like some kind of cat. She was a very friendly woman. I was dancing with her. She was a very friendly woman. The people at this club, they're generally, pretty friendly people. So, anyway, I'm just vibing. I'm having a good time at the club. And, there's this gorgeous ass black gal. This black chick with a nice ass and a decent pair of titties, and I don't know if that was her real hair, but it looked like her real hair. Anywho, so we were dancing, she was fucking moving that ass on me, you know what I mean? I was just grinding up on that sexy ass, man. But, then she left, and I'm not gonna lie, deadass tried to talk to her, man, but the fucking music, I don't think she heard me. She just walked away. I tried to get her fucking number, but what are you gonna do? Anywho, So I'm just dancing, I'm having a good time, you know, after the sexy ass black girl leaves. And you know, I'm just running into a lot of different people. They're all dancing, having a good time, enjoying the energy, enjoying the atmosphere, and they're fucking drunk. And there's this white bitch approaches me, telling me some shit like, "Yeah, we're here to have fun. Just have fun. Just enjoy yourself." I guess it's because she could possibly sense that, you know, I didn't just come here to have fun. I didn't just come here to have a good time. I came here to get some fucking numbers. I came here to see if I was going to get lucky. I came here to see if I was either going to get a well, not really a one-night stand kind of guy. I'm more like of, you know, get a number, talk to the gal, maybe either have friends with benefits or a relationship, a serious relationship. That's the kind of guy I am. Because if you're doing a one-night stand, you gotta fucking wear a condom, and nobody has time for that shit. No way in hell am I doing that shit raw. So yeah, I don't really care for the one-night stand thing. I'm more of a relationship kind of guy. I'm more of a, you know, yeah, a relationship kind of guy. But if I could get friends with benefits, that's fine too. Anywho, so I'm there trying to get lucky, trying to get some numbers and shit. That's what I'm there to do. And you know, this bitch keep telling me, "Oh yeah, just have fun, don't worry about everything else." Just, bitch, shut the fuck up. Alright? Your idea of fun and my idea of fun is two totally different things. I'm here trying to get me some pussy. I'm here trying to get me some numbers, get me some fucking action. You feel me? I'm not just here to enjoy the company and enjoy the atmosphere. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're going out to like bars and clubs, social events to have a good time, the reality is you're not always going to get lucky. You're not always going to get numbers. You're not always going to meet somebody special. But you can't give up. You have to keep going out. You always have to keep going out. Constantly vibing, developing your social skills, mingling with people. The only way how you going to ever get the goods is if you're consistent and persistent. You have to keep doing it. But anywho, so you know, like I got a couple of numbers there that night, but one number in particular that I got that I remembered was this Hindu Indian gal. She had a boyfriend. I didn't get her number in the sense of dating or sex or anything, just platonically to expand my social circle. So anyway, it was this Hindu Indian gal. She had like the ring nose, so she's, you know, one of those very expressive people, but she had a boyfriend. So anywho, you know, we were vibing, talking at the club. You know, I got her number, and I think like the following day or the following week, I called her and we had a really nice conversation. Like, she's a big fan of the Powerpuff Girls. I can't remember if she likes video games or if she likes anime, but I remember that she likes the Powerpuff Girls. You know, she's obviously a 90s baby. She grew up with, like, you know, the same cartoons and shit I grew up with. And I distinctively remember that her favorite kind of dinosaur is the Triceratops. My favorite kind of dinosaur is the Tyrannosaurus Rex, for obvious reasons. The literal name, King, is in its name. As you know, Rex is another name for king. I think Rex means king in Latin. I'm not fully sure. You could correct me on that. So yeah, I can't fully remember what kind of period the Tyrannosaurus Rex used to roam the earth, but it was the king predator of its period. Anywho, why am I telling you guys this story? Well, a lot of you guys are probably like, bars and clubs, a whole bunch of sluts and thoughts and shitty people there and predators and this and that. Yeah, not entirely. You could run into some pretty decent people at bars and clubs and social events. Obviously, don't get drunk. Regardless if you're with friends or not, you should be responsible with the alcohol, and I don't recommend anyone do recreational drugs. But, you know, you go to the bars and clubs, dress nice, you vibe, Maybe get a drink or two. Just make sure you don't get drunk, you don't get fucked up. You never want to get fucked up. You never leave your drink unattended. If you left to go to the bathroom and you left your drink, pour out the drink. Don't finish it. Just pour it out. When you're talking to someone and you have your drink, make sure your hand is covering your drink. Always make sure your drink is covered. Never leave your drink unattended. But yeah, like there's decent. Like the point of this story is that there's decent people anywhere and everywhere. You never know who you'll find. You never know who you'll meet. You just gotta go out there and be open-minded and be open to expanding your social circle. I always wonder how that Hindu Indian girl is doing. You know, she seemed like a really nice person, a really cool person. I need to go back out and just continue to expand my social circle. Not just at bars and clubs, but just, you know, social events in general. Places in general. I know one of the things I want to do next year, you know, I want to go to something called Poetry Slam, where I'm interested in writing poems, and I want to say my poems aloud. You never know, I might get noticed. You never know, I might just attract some gorgeous, top-tier, badass females that's really into what it is I have to say. That may be the door for me to getting me some top-tier pussy. You know, another thing I want to do is I also want to go and play chess. You know, where I'm from, I think there's some spot where there's a lot of chess players there. One of these days I do plan on doing Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a lot of card shops, but I'm not going to do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Yet. I'd rather do the poetry and the chess first and keep expanding on my channel before I indulge the Yu-Gi-Oh! But anywho, yeah. So I hope this encourages you guys to, like, you know, go out, don't be shy, be bold, be brave. There's interesting people out there in the world. You never know who you'll meet. Like how I met, you know, that girl that's into the Powerpuff Girls and animation, and her favorite dinosaur is a Triceratops. She was a fun person to talk to, fun and friendly. You never know, you know, you could go out there and you might meet someone like that. So, you know, always keep your mind open. Okay, so aside from the fact that Goldango is not exactly a heavy mon, which I'm not gonna lie, it's a steel type mon. It's made out of gold. Those Goldango coins is gold coins, gold. It's usually known for being something really heavy. So aside from the fact that I'm learning that Goldango is not heavy, Weavile just could not take it out. Now again, gotta reiterate, if Weavile had the ability, Tough Claws, and if the Shell Bell increased its physical contacting moves by 10% before stab, pretty fucking sure that Goldango would have gotten knocked the fuck out while I regenerate some of my health. I mean, I could have gone into Infernape and just hit the fucker with a goddamn flamethrower, but then again, for all I know, my opponent might switch out, you know? And it's like, again, I'm thinking, well, Weavile's gonna knock it out with Loken. And it is what it is. Anywho, keep watching this battle. It gets good. Okay, so this is just the part of the fight where we are just playing mind games, like who's gonna take out who. Just trying to fucking figure out and fucking outmaneuver the opponent. Just trying to get into the opponent's head here. Like, switching in, switching out. I've got my Comfy and my fucking Infernape, and they have their Ghouldango, their Dragapult, and their Kingbit, and we are just playing a mental tug-of-war trying to get the other person, all while the timer is going down. Oh my goodness. I fucking hate trying to outpredict my opponent. It's no matter what anybody says, when they try to make it sound like, oh, you outpredicted people or your predictions need to get better. Dude, predictions at the end of the day just boil down to luck. You're guessing what your opponent's gonna do. You never definitively know exactly what the fuck your opponent's gonna do. So get the fuck out of here with the whole, oh, you gotta be skilled to predict. Anywho, yeah, keep watching. Things get crazy here. So at the end of it all, I won the first round. clusterfuck of predictions and trying to outmaneuver my opponent. It paid off. I guess you could say my predictions was correct, and I just won the first round. Now on to the second round, and it looks like my opponent is bringing a Sun team. I'm not gonna lie, this team seems highly unbalanced. It consists of a whole bunch of Paradox Mons. It feels like a very unbalanced team, but hey, you never know what's gonna happen, right? I mean, even though the team looks unbalanced, I mean, a lot of powerhouses, and Sun teams are well known for how much of a punch they pack. Plus, Paradox Mons, they have very high stats, so as always, can't take my opponent lightly. I gotta be on my P's and Q's. So, let's just see what happens with this match. Stay tuned. I don't give a rat's ass if you want to get rid of the hazards. The hazards don't really serve a purpose to me anymore. The only thing I care about is my Dragonite getting whatever kind of fucking chip damage I could get on you at this moment. That's the only goddamn thing I fucking care about. Nothing else fucking matters. Because let me tell you something. If my Porygon Z can survive an attack and go off an agility, especially if it gets a special attack buff from its ability download, I won this fucking match. So, get rid of the hazards, chip my Dragonite away as much as you want. My real fucking win con is this motherfucking Porygon Z. As long as I could survive an attack, get off an agility, especially if download boosts my special attack stat, I won this motherfucking match. Unless of course my opponent wants to be a Gaylord, Fokker, and time stall, but we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. So, excellent. Foregone Z survived the hazards, and it survived the attack, and I was able to get off the agility, and I got a special attack buff from download. Now, I won this match. There's nothing the fuck my opponent can do. I have been dying to showcase this stratagem from my Porygon Z. So, special attack buff from download. Use Uproar. Activate Throat Spray. Now, I'm at +2. Boom, Porygon Z just sweeps, and sweeps. I won this match. Good game to my opponent. They played well. Hopefully we get to battle again in the future. Anyways, Lord Monarch, signing off. Farewell, my loyal subjects. Until next time.